There's a saint that you can call upon to get things done so quickly in the matter of hours, days, and even minutes.
Story time. Let me tell you about St.Expedite, the real OG. If you have not watched that last video, you should go watch it because she is speaking nothing but facts. St.Expedite will come through quick, fast, and in a hurry. Maybe even so fast that sometimes you could actually miss it. And that's kind of like what happened to me. So here's what happened. I wanted to go to this music festival that was happening in Chalab, France. They'd asked me to be a part of it, but I needed to pay my way. I didn't have my passport at the time, and I did not have a job. I was a sugar baby, so I guess that was my job. But I knew I wanted to go to this festival, and I was like, I'm already gonna be in Europe. Like, I want to go to Barcelona. Like, I want to live out my cheetah girl fantasy. So I asked my sugar daddy, I'm like, hey, like, I want to do this thing, da 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 da. Like, can you pay for it? And I told him, I was like, I want to do this. I want to go to Paris, all these things. And he was like, well, I'll pay for you to go to the festival, but I'm not paying for all this. And you need to get your passport. And I was like, huh? He was like very all of a sudden miserly with his money. And I was like, hello, what the fuck? Why is it so strict in here? We had a whole argument about it. Like, it was actually a point of contention in our relationship. And it made me realize, I was like, okay, well, fuck it. Like, I'm a witch. Like, I can find the way to do the money, get the money myself. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, it made me so mad that it pushed me to go and find a solution to get this thing handled. And I really only had like a month and a half to get everything settled, to get my passport, to get the money. So I needed quick results. All of a sudden, I see on my timeline St.Expedite video from the Conjure Queen. Now, if you guys don't know who the Conjure Queen is, then you you need to go find out. I watch her whole video, and then it leads me down this rabbit hole of all of these other videos, right? And I started to do deep research about St.Expedite, and I started realizing, like, maybe this is the person that I should be calling upon for support in this situation, because I kind of need a fast turnaround. So after doing extensive research on all the type of offerings that I could give him and the things that he likes and the things that all these things, I realized I was ready to do this work. So what I did was I gave him a red candle. I gave him fresh water, red roses, and I think I lit some incense, and I gave him 3 pennies. And so when I petitioned him, I said, listen, if you can get me all of these things, right? I need the funds for the entire trip, not just one part, the whole European trip that I'm going on, plus me getting my passport and all of that, and anything that I need while I'm there. I will give you everything that I've given you here, plus I will give you pound cake, and I will go online and let people know what you did for me. Because St.Expedite loves public praise. So something that is well known is that a lot of people would put things in the newspaper back in the day talking about how much they love St.Expedite and thank you, St.Expedite. He loves public praise. So that's another form of offering that you can give him. I wake up the next morning and I basically try to see if I could convince my sugar daddy again. And he basically tells me, like, hey, no, like, I can't. And it's not just because I don't want to. Like, there's some financial things going on. And that's why I'm, like, trying to keep things afloat. And I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Well, I guess I'm glad I did petition St.Expedite, because this seems a little messy and I don't want to be involved. A week goes by, right? The candle's already burned out, and, I'm living my life and I'm trying to find ways to make the money. And all of a sudden I get this kink in my neck. It's this really fucking bad kink to the point of me not being able to turn my head, and I could barely even lift my arm. So I tell my sugar daddy, and he sends me to get a massage. I get in there, I let them know what's going on, like, hey, this just came out of nowhere. I think I just slept wrong. And they're like, totally fine. We'll figure it out. We'll get it in there. And it was a male masseuse that was like, he gonna manhandle that knot and we gonna get it out. So I'm on the table and my eyes are open at this point, and he's talking to me, and I'm telling him, like, where the knot is, right? And as he starts to push on the knot, this weird sound starts to ring out. Not from me, but just in the space. It was like this weird warping sound of wood and a vibrational sound. And it's like kind of like that sound like when the floorboards are creaking and popping a little bit, mixed with the sound of like when a table is just a little off center, and so it kind of dances and wobbles onto the surface of the floor. Like a weird sound like that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but maybe you understand what I'm saying. And it only happened when he would push into the knot. And he even said, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that sound is. I've never heard that sound since I've worked here. Worked here for like 2 years. I've never heard that sound. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, it's fine, whatever. I close my eyes, and all of a sudden I get this image of this man, this male figure, hovered over me with a fucking string, pulling at me, and the string is like hooked into the place where the knot is on my neck. Every time he would push on that area, I could just see it pull even harder, like yanking. When I tell you that shit freaked me the fuck out, I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And all of a sudden something just clicked, and I was like, is that St.Expedite? I knew exactly what I needed to do at that very second. I got off that table and I called my sugar daddy and I said, hey, listen, I need you to go to the store right now. I need you to get some pound cake. I need you to get a bouquet of red roses. They need to be red, the reddest fucking roses that you've ever got in your life. I need you to get me one of those red candles that they have in the little, the Mexican seasoning section. And then they have all the prayer candles. I need all of that. And I need you to bring it to the house in the next 20 minutes. And he was like, oh, like, what is this? Like, are we doing something? And I was like, no, it's not sexual. It's spiritual. Meet me at the house. He already knew what time it was, and he brought everything that I needed. I didn't waste no time. I brought all that stuff. I pushed those 3 pennies into that pound cake. I put my water out there, the candle, the roses, the incense. And I said, hey, listen, hey, we had to go do this. You had to go get me today. And in my mind, I was like, why am I being targeted by this spirit? I haven't gotten any money, and I don't have any signs of whether or not someone else is going to be able to help finance it, or if I'm going to, I don't have a job. Like, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, I just was like, whatever. I just don't want to deal with this. And I was like, really just, honestly, at that point, I was a little nervous. So I just was like, I'm done. I wake up the next morning, the kink in my neck, gone. Completely gone, as though it never was there. It was absolutely insane. And then I walk out of my room into the living room, and my sugar daddy is sitting there with the laptop open, and he says, come here. So I sit down next to him and I look at the screen, and it says travel information for Barcelona, Spain, and Paris, France. Yes, man! Hey, the girls, here we go! I guess whatever was financially going on with him cleared up quickly, and not only that, cleared up in a big way, and he paid for everything, and I mean everything. On top of that, he knew the fastest way to get my passport, and I got it in a week's time. Not only that, one of my friends that I went to college with actually was living in Sweden, well, they're Swedish, and was like, hey, well, since you're gonna already be here, like, come to Sweden, and then you can go home from Sweden. So I had another European destination, okay, to go to. And girl, I had the best time. I might do another story time on how incredible that experience was, how bizarre and like life-changing that experience was, but it truly was magical. And I definitely had a Cheetah Girls moment and a little bit of a Lizzie McGuire moment, and like but grown so much fun. I had such a great time, and I went online and I wrote in the comment section of the Conjure Queen, I believe, or maybe it was somebody else, and I just wrote in the comment section, thank you so much, St.Expedite, like what he did for me, and just thanking him. Moral of the story is he comes through quick, and he came in so quick I didn't even realize, because it was something that was happening behind the scenes that I had no idea about. But he came through bigger than I had even really asked for or was expecting. I was taken care of throughout the trip. I never had to worry about money, transportation, nothing. It was all taken care of. Moral of the story is, make sure that you give St.Expedite his offerings. Do not delay. Give him the first initial offerings to petition him, and then the second one after he's come through and give you what you asked for. And feel free to come back to this video and use this as a place where you can give thanks to St.Expedite and show your appreciation for what he's done for you. Should I do our European story time next?